Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Today we have a very special guest. We're going to talk with Katie from the Burnt Pancakes podcast. Hi, Katie. How are
Uh,
you?
I'm good. It's good to be here.
Very excited to have you here. So, can you talk a little bit about yourself and, just briefly about what you do as well?
Yes. So I am a mom of three boys. So that alone is craziness.
Yeah.
For 17 years, I was a teacher. And then about a year and a half ago, I quit my teaching job because I wanted to focus more on being a mom and helping moms. So I started a blog called the Burnt Pancakes. And then from there, I
Mhm.
have a podcast where I talk to moms all about mom life stuff called the Burnt Pancakes podcast. But I
mhm.
also, in this time, became a potty training consultant. So it is actually a thing
Mm.
to help other moms with potty training.
Yeah,
So I'm doing that as well.
Yeah.
no, no, that's great.
Yeah, your Veronique has a little one,
Yeah,
right? So for you,
Oh,
and
especially,
yeah,
yeah.
she's 17 months old, and I think we're gonna be almost ready to start the potty training soon. So I guess I'm gonna have to, watch your videos in.
yeah.
Yeah.
It all started from the fact that when I potty trained my oldest son, it was an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
I felt like the worst mom ever because we couldn't get it. And so
Mm.
from that, potty training two more kids, I was like, okay, like I think I know what I'm doing now. And then people kept asking me for tips, and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to make a business of this. So
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
I mean,
yeah,
good for you. Uh,
that's how it came to be.
by the way, I love the name of your podcast, and I mean,
Yes.
Joe's Gone Pancake. I love it. It's really
It was
catchy.
actually when I was potty training my oldest son that I even heard that phrase.
Oh
He
yeah.
had just had, we were at my friend's house, like we always were every afternoon. And he had another like massive accident. And I was just beyond frustrated. I was like, we're never going to get this. And my friend turned to me and she was like, oh my gosh, Katie, don't worry about it. Everyone burns their first pancake. And I was like, oh,
Ah.
I
Yeah.
did it right the first time. So it all came
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Personally, for the my older, she's 10. She's almost 11 tomorrow. I was very lucky because I say the lady at the daycare, she just did that in 1 week, and she was potty trained. And I was like, thank you, because I didn't know where to. It was my first
Yeah.
kid. I didn't know where to start.
Yeah.
So
And I told parents, I'm like, if you hear people whose kids get it in like 3 days, they hit the jackpot
Hmm.
because most kids, it's not that easy. So like,
yeah.
Yeah.
don't be hard on yourself if it's taking longer than a weekend.
Oh yeah. So my first question for you. So I watched of course your episode, and I saw that you have a lot of clips on YouTube. And there was one from the episode 26 that I'm really interested in because I need that. So my question is, can you give us maybe like 2 tips about being a busy mom and staying fit?
Oh, and stay fit. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah, I loved that guest that I had on because she made like getting in shape and focusing on your health attainable. So for
Hmm.
me, I had always been super athletic growing up, in my 20s, 30s, going to boot camps early in the morning. And then you have kids and you're like, I am so tired. I am exhausted. Like, how do I fit in being healthy?
Yeah.
But what I loved, her tips, like the best thing was create attainable goals. So don't say, I'm going to lose 40 pounds in the next 2 months. It's like, this week I want to maintain my
Hmm.
I want to just like maintain, or I'm going to drink this amount of water today. And that's the goal that when I have three kids running around and I don't really have time to do 2-hour workouts anymore, I can
Hmm.
achieve that. So I've kind of started doing that myself because like I've had three kids. My body is not the same as it used to.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
I just told myself, I'm just going to get up and do a 20-minute workout. Whereas like in my 20s, it would have been like an hour and a half workout. But for me,
Yeah.
it's like I have 20 minutes. So create attainable goals, I would say.
Hmm.
Okay. That's
Slowly.
And
Yeah.
be
that's
forgiving. Be forgiving on yourself. Like that's something I'm still working on. Like the things that are in my head, the things I tell myself, I'm constantly working on like, talk to yourself like your best friend, not like the enemy.
yeah. That's a good one. I like that one. Yeah. And
That's what one
then
of my friends said. would you
Mhm.
say, like, I was like, oh God, I can't believe these pants don't fit any, like, yet. And she's like, would you say that to your good friend? I'm like,
Mhm.
no, I would never say that to her. And she's like, well, why are you telling yourself that? I'm like, you're right. You're
It's
Yeah,
right.
true.
huh? That's really
Yeah.
true.
We
Yeah.
are so hard on ourselves all the time.
So
All the
hard.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I don't exercise, if I don't do something, I'm like, oh my God, why are you being so lazy today? You know what?
Mm.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah.
say that to my friend. I wouldn't tell my friend, you've been lazy today. You didn't
Right.
exercise. So
You would say, oh my gosh, you have so
it's
much
a good
going
one.
on.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. uh, so my second question for you, this one I'm really, really, really interested in because we travel a lot. And I saw
Oh,
you had you had an episode 20, where you give some good tips about traveling with kids. So please give
yeah.
me some tips about that because,
Okay.
especially with
Yeah.
a toddler, it's a nightmare.
Oh
It
God.
is. It is.
Well, I think
It's
the
4 hours.
first
It's a nightmare.
yes, the first thing just to acknowledge is that yes, it's going to be hard, and they are not going to behave the way they do at home.
Oh
Like,
my God.
just be okay with it.
Hmm.
We have not done any like super long flights. I think the longest flight we did was 5 hours, which I mean, with a
It's
baby,
bad
that's
enough. Yeah.
so
That's not
far,
enough.
Hmm.
so far.
Yeah.
My husband and I still joke about it. So I had a 9-month-old and a 4-year-old, and we flew. It was a 5-hour flight, and that 9-month-old, he was already moving. So it was just like wiggle,
No.
wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And he sent me a meme afterwards of a man trying to hold this giant fish that's like flopping all over the place, and he's like, "This is what that flight felt like. It was so hard." So
Yeah,
we just
no.
went into our flight knowing they're not going to behave perfectly. They're going to be, kids sitting on a flight. I
Yeah.
used to say I would never let my kids look at a phone or an iPad while we're flying. I'm like, my mom's generation did it without screens. I can do
Oh,
it.
yeah. Imagine how it was then. All the
Then
planes.
as a child, I was like, here's an
Hell.
iPad. Here's this. I was like, I'm totally okay with screen time. Um, pack tons of snacks, like
Yeah.
more. I mean, that's kids in general, but just they're going to get bored on a flight, on a
Hmm.
car ride, standing in line at an amusement park, snacks upon snacks upon snacks. Um, I couldn't pack enough, like just keep them busy, keep them busy. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know if you
True.
have the ability to travel with family. Like if I could bring my mom with me every
Yeah.
vacation, I would. Or just other families. When we went to Chicago in the spring, we met up with another family. They stayed at the hotel with us. We went out to dinner. And it was just so much nicer having other families, like with kids. Not only did they
Yes.
entertain our children, but it's like when I was at my wit's end with my kids, that mom would look at me and be like, you got this, because I'm feeling exactly the same you are. So
Hmm.
that was really nice. And we always, when we go camping, we always try to camp with another family so that our kids are
Mm.
entertained. I think the biggest piece of advice is don't let having kids stop you from traveling, though, because this is
Yeah.
your memory too. It's not going to be easy, I would say, but it's totally worth it. Like every time we take a trip, we're like, that was so hard. But we got those pictures and those memories were worth it.
Yeah. And I was very afraid of traveling with my kids when I had like all of them like super little. I'm
Mhm.
like, how are we gonna do international trips with these kids? It's
Yeah.
gonna be
I don't
insane.
know how you did that long of a flight. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I kind of like, you know what? We are just having my parents come over, like travel and come see us
Yeah.
instead of us actually going because I was just thinking, how is this gonna be? Until last year that we went to Ireland that was the longest with the three of them for like more than 9 hours, isn't it? I think it's 10, 11, the flight
I mean,
nonstop.
yeah, France is 11, so
So
Ireland should
maybe
be
it's
like
like, yeah, I think
9
10,
or 10.
11.
Yeah.
Wow. It was fine. It was worse for me actually, who I couldn't sleep. But they were like my youngest, my 3-year-old at the time, he was sleeping. And like, you're right about the snacks. It keeps them busy, like
Yeah.
distracted, just kind of eating something. And of
Yeah.
course the
Just go to
movies.
the store and like anything you want, anything that's going to keep you entertained. Here's a bunch of fishies. Here you go. Yep.
I think
Anything.
it's that there's an age where it's impossible, when they're between 2 and
Oh
4,
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
because they have no attention span and you cannot really, tell them to sit
mhm.
down and I hate taking night flight, like a red eye with
You
babies
don't
at that
sleep.
age. They don't sleep.
No.
They don't sleep. They're very excited what's going on and
No.
looking at everybody and they don't understand. And Of course,
Mhm.
like my last one, she falls asleep 1 hour before we land.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 10 minutes as they're like,
Yeah.
we're hitting our initial descent. Mine are like, okay.
Oh, perfect.
No, our last flight that we took, though, we had a 9, 6, and 3-year-old. And I remember looking at my husband, like, of course, he's like across the aisle with 2 of them. And I
Mhm.
looked at him and I'm like, we're so close. Because the 6 were like, good the whole flight. I'm like, we're so close. Pretty soon you're going to be sitting in my aisle and we're just going to send them over to their aisle.
Yes.
Oh, yes, right. That is true.
Yeah.
They're
Next
good.
year or two. Yeah.
Sylvia, that's going to be you soon also, right?
Yeah.
When
I
your
think
husband on the side and this kid on the other side.
they're getting way more independent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our boys are like the same age, right?
Yes, they are. Like even
Yeah.
your oldest,
Our oldest is the same birthday, I think.
the same
Wow.
birthday. Yeah.
Wow.
It's
And the
crazy.
same year. Like completely like it's the same. It's like what?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
weird.
I get you.
Yes.
My dream right now would be to have maybe like, you know, if I go to France I'm also from the Caribbean, so it's a long way to go there. Just to hire a nanny or a student just to take care of her, you know, when I'm sleeping on the other side.
Vision board. That's vision board
A
thing.
little board having a nanny.
I could sleep the whole flight. Like I was notorious for like falling asleep before takeoff and then just waking up at landing. And now like to be able to sleep on the flight, that sounds like
Oh.
I know we're close. We're close.
Yeah.
But like
Look at my face.
the last 9 years. Whew.
It is true.
Yeah.
So actually talking about, you know, like kids all around, like traveling, things like that, it can be like very overwhelming. I just came back from a camping, it wasn't a camping, but like I call like a little bit of like trip from hell. With went up to the mountains and it was like 5 families or more, I think. Total of 21 kids.
Ooh.
Wow.
3 different houses and like 2 to 3 families in each house. I was like, okay, after when we were back, I said, I need some something to do to decompress, to release all the yelling.
A vacation from our vacation.
Yeah.
Yes, totally, 100%. So like, what do you do like for like some me time when you feel like, okay, it's been crazy with all these kids in the house?
Okay, so this is something I have been working on a lot in the last, I would say year and a half, especially because my youngest is a little bit older. I feel like I have a chance to do this. When you've got little ones, they need 100% of you. And you're like, I have nothing left to give, but it's myself. So something I've been doing recently for me time is waking up a little bit earlier, which I was like, I can't wake up so early. But mine are getting to the point where it's like, they're either able to entertain themselves by like, okay, in the morning, or they sleep in till like 7, which was unheard of, you know, a year ago. So I've been trying to do some meditation, trying to get my 20 minutes of move my body. Like even if it's just a walk in the morning, I tell my husband, I'm like, I'm just going to go for a walk. Like I just need to be by myself. I love reading as an adult now. I'm like, I could read books all day. So even if I get like 5 minutes of reading time, I treat it as like, this is a treat to myself. So if my boys are quietly playing, I'm like, well, they don't ever quietly play, but if they are not bugging me, I can like pull out a book and read for a few minutes. And I think to myself, like, this is a treat. Like, this is so nice. I've also started every morning when I wake up, before I even open my eyes, I'll say, today's going to be a great day. Like, I don't want to wake up feeling like, oh, it's Monday. I gotta do this. So literally before I open my eyes, I'll say, oh, today's going to be such a great day. And it kind of just like puts me in a better mood. And then before I go to bed at night, I will just like close my eyes and just recap my day mentally and just pick out all the great things that happened. So there's a lot of
good idea.
stuff, but I'll just say like, that right on the way to school, that was so sweet when Ronan like said goodbye to me. And then it was so nice to be able to drink my coffee when it was still hot. Just like any little bit of things that happened. And it just, I feel like it puts me to sleep in a positive vibe so that the next day you kind of wake up feeling a little better.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I never thought of doing that. Thinking about the good thing, that happened in your day before you go to bed.
heard it too. I wish I like knew the source of where I got this, but I'm like, I'm going to try this day for a month. And it's been so great. And it's not like I have to sit for hours journaling and then I've got to do this. It's like, by the time I get to, mentally recalling lunchtime, I'm almost asleep already. And just like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
the mood. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And it's easier too than like, yeah, like again, journaling or like, it's so many things that they say like, it's good for us to do. Meditating, journaling, and it's like, and then I'm like, oh my God, how am I gonna fit all that in my schedule? It takes a lot.
I don't have time for this self-care. I mean,
Yeah,
I get massages every day and I do
Yes.
this, but
that would be great.
right?
So the next question would be, what gives you mom guilt? Then what makes you feel like,
my
oh,
gosh. And
Yeah.
that's so funny that you're talking about this because on Thursday I'm interviewing like a mom coach, and that's our topic is mom guilt.
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Perfect.
She's gonna like coach me through. Oh, it's fascinating the way she does this. But you have a guilty thought and how to recognize where that thought's coming from and how to see if there's any truth in it and work through it. Oh my gosh, so many guilty thoughts.
yes.
Too much screen time when we talk about like flights.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
More TV than I ever thought they could.
I know.
The way
Yes.
I feed them, before I had kids, I'm like, they're gonna eat all organic. I'm gonna make them home cooked meals every night. I'm like, we're at the football field till 8:30 at night. I'm like, they're lucky if they get dino nuggets.
Exact cereal, anything like that is available.
Oh yeah.
My middle son, every time I pack him any fruit in his lunch, it comes back uneaten. And I'm like, I'm so tired of cutting up that apple and then seeing you not eat it. Because it's brown is what he said. Or I gave him a banana. He's like, there was a spot on it. I'm like, I just don't give you fruit in your lunch. And the teachers must think like he had chips and a peanut butter sandwich and like that is
every single day. Yeah.
He won't eat what I give him. So if we're at home, I can make him eat it. But
No.
I know. Yeah. And some like, especially like first time moms, they start with that. I've noticed some of them. Yeah. So my child is eating only this. And they kind of start introducing, oh, wait until you have your second and your third. And you think this is going to continue. No.
So my friend once, I'm like, my kids love fish. My oldest son, he actually loved salmon as a little kid. My middle son, goldfishies. He loves those. And my third loves Swedish fish candy.
That's a good one.
It gets worse. I know. It's so funny.
This one you give like the natural Cheerios. The third one, you're like,
no sugar.
Do you like peanut butter? Do you like extra? Which one?
With all the colors, those crazy ones with all colors in it. All the coloring that we love.
Artificial coloring, yeah. Like
just sure. He just
the marshmallows. Then he's only eat the marshmallows. Yesterday morning, so my oldest, she was on the couch. I'm like, "Are you gonna get breakfast?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm eating it." She was eating, those chips, but that's popcorn. It's new. I love it. No, it's not candy corn. It's like it comes in a form of chips, but it's actually popcorn. It's a popcorn, but it's a chips. Pop chips, something like that. It's brand new. It's so addicted, but it's really good. It's actually good. And she's eating it for breakfast. I'm like, okay, it's the weekend. I'm tired. I want to relax.
Totally lowered my standards when it comes to feeding my children.
Chips.
I know, right? The guilt comes, but then like, oh, what are you gonna do? Like we all go through that. Like the screening time, TV time. And like the food is.
I think I used to always feel guilty to leaving my kids with my husband to do something for myself. Like, hey, if girls want to meet for coffee, is it okay if I leave them? Oh, it's going to be so hard for him, or oh, they're not going to behave. And now I'm like, why did I feel that way? Like, why didn't I just say, I need a break from my kids. You're great with them. Here you go. You take them.
Yeah, exactly. We deserve it. No, we deserve our
Which is a good segue to my third question. Actually, I was going to ask you, how do you balance work and having a busy mom life?
Right. And I think that's a great question because there are so many more working moms now. There's like, someone put a quote out the other day that said, like, society expects moms to be great moms, but also great at work. But then we feel like if we're great at work, we're failing as a mom. And if we're failing as a mom, then like work can be okay. You know, it's like
Mm-hmm.
you have both. So I think the biggest thing I learned was to accept help and like even ask for help. I think it's really hard as moms to even know what to ask for. I know with my first son, I was like, I had this new baby. I'm going to do it all by myself. This is great. And I like struggled. I mean, there was one day I came home, my husband came home from work and I was holding, he had been crying all day long. And I was holding him like bawling, like, like sobbing. And he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm trying to do it all by myself and I don't know how to do this. Like it was so, by the time the third one came around, I had friends like, can we bring you dinners? I'm like, absolutely. Let's see. My children love this. And on Tuesday, we would love to have this. Like, it got easier accepting. I still have a hard time knowing like what to ask for. But
I know,
as working moms, like you can't do it all. And that's okay. It's okay to not be able to do it all, you know?
Yeah. I totally agree because exactly the same thing for my first one. My friend was saying, if you need some time off, we can take care of her one night. You can stay with your husband. I'm like, no. I'm going to care of her. I don't want. For the second one, her godmother was like, do you want the night off? I'm like, yeah, sure. Here she is. This is her diapers. This is the bottle. And she sleep at 7. Thank you. Bye. And I went away.
Like, how much better you feel when you do get that break. Because when you're like, go, and you never have a break, it's like, that's when you start snapping. And I've been there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even if I tell my husband, hey, they're finishing dinner, I'm going to go take a shower. Like I used to always wait till they were fast asleep before I even like got in the shower. I'm like, what if they need me? What if they need something? And now I'm like, they're okay. And he's fine with them. I'm going to take a shower while they're awake. And I'm locking the door so they don't come in.
I was going to say because I can't be in the shower. It's been 10 years. I can't even be in the bathroom alone. Sitting on the toilet. I always have somebody knocking on the door. It's unbelievable.
Something. I'm like, can you wait?
Can you wait?
They will not be near you at all when you're, in the kitchen doing this. But the minute you go to the bathroom, they
need to know what's going on. And my daughter, she knows how to unlock the door.
Oh, really? Great.
Yes, even she takes a pin and she's like, I need to talk to you. I'm like, don't you see what I'm doing? It doesn't bother you. Don't you see I'm busy right now? She's like, no, it's okay.
Oh my gosh.
Kid, yeah.
You're
I'm
so
like,
bad.
no. And the other one is coming, so that's gonna be interesting.
Yes, exactly. So I think one more question can squeeze in about the potty training course that you offer, like talking about a little bit more. So what is the ideal age to get started with that? Like I know some people start very early, and others just kind of.
Right. So I think in the United States, the average tends to be around 3. So like most of the clients that I get, the kids are 3, a little older. I think if you go elsewhere, most kids are potty trained. Like you guys would probably know, younger is more normal.
3 sounds right. Old. No?
Very old. I think like 2 is closer to the average outside the United States. But then
2, right?
Look at how many of us are working moms who have kids in daycare full time. Like potty training doesn't happen in 2 days, but these moms are like, well, I don't have a week to take off. So I'm just going to keep pushing it. I've noticed that developmentally, I think kids are ready around 2. My own personal kids, I potty trained them around 2.5. And it was like, that was like our sweet spot. Like I felt ready. They are able to like communicate their needs either with words or signs. Like they want water, they'll say, Wawa. If they want more, they can either sign for more or tell you more. They're able to follow simple directions. If you say, put your toy in the box, they can do that. So that means when you say, go put your pee in the potty, they can do that. Other things you look for, do they start like copying you, imitating you? Because that's another sign that they could be ready. So I think most people could start around 2. 2.5 is a great age because they're like super aware. But in the United States, I would say most people don't even think to start before 3.
Yeah, I think that was around that time for my boys too. But
Mhm.
I actually I asked my mom and she didn't remember in Brazil how old we were.
Oh, I would forget it too. Like when my kids
Right?
ask me,
She's like, what?
oh, I don't even want to relive those days.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
like I do not remember. But I know I have some Russian friends that they're like, yeah, even before too, they're all already potty
Oh,
trained like
really?
crazy. Yeah,
They
they're
actually
very strict.
start when they're babies. The elimination communication, where you like stick a baby on the toilet like every morning, or like when they have signs that they're
Mm.
going. Some people do it like really early, but if you're doing like the
Mm.
traditional potty training, like they're in diapers and then you go away, like in between 2 and 3 is
Yeah.
usually.
Oh, and by the way, do you have also with the pilot training course, do you also help? I know that most of people are going to think just like the babies, like, toddlers. But how about a little older kids with training pants for sleeping?
Yeah.
Like between like
So
the 4,
yes, nighttime training. I
the night.
actually have heard people say like, "Hey, I've got an
Can
8-year-old."
take a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
At night.
I usually say when you start potty training to just keep your eye out. If your child starts waking up a handful of days with a dry diaper or even nap time, like nap time,
Hmm.
I would always put a diaper on, but within a couple months of potty training, my boys tended to start staying dry during naps. So it was like time to take off the diaper, which
Yeah.
is
Right.
scary for us as parents because it's like, I don't want to be cleaning sheets every single day.
Yes, I know.
I do feel like if they are capable of staying dry or they're showing you that they're capable some of the time, it's
Hmm.
better to like move forward than to like I had one client was like, I just don't want her to have accidents. I'm like, it
No,
might
they're gonna have
happen here and
accidents.
there. Here are things you can do to make sure the cleaning's easier. But I wouldn't just keep a child in a diaper till they're, 6 if they are staying dry.
Yeah.
My oldest son never stayed dry. During nap time, he was okay. At night, it was like he was almost 4 and not staying dry. So we did the dream pee where you like wake them,
Mm.
or not really wake them.
Mm.
You like, did you ever have to do a dream feed where you would feed them in the middle of the night without waking your kids?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like that, but taking to the bathroom and you just say,
Mm.
they go. So we did that with him. So I do get some clients that ask about nighttime.
Yeah. Right. Because it
Yeah.
is pretty.
I,
It takes a long time. I feel like for me it did. Some of my,
Yeah.
my youngest one.
I remember my daughter, she told me actually, she's like, I don't want that anymore. I was like, are you sure? She's like, no, I don't want.
You want
Yeah.
to be in these sheets?
She was, and she never peed. She said, I don't want those anymore. She's like, I don't want to wear that at night anymore. Those, maybe she was 4 or 5. I don't remember how old she
Yeah.
was, but I'm like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, I don't want to sleep with that. I'm like, okay.
Let's try it. Because it is hard.
And
When kids are sleeping, it is totally subconscious. Like most of
yeah,
them
Yes.
don't know. My youngest, to this day, I don't think he's ever woken up in the middle of the night and taken himself to the bathroom. He just has the ability to hold it all night.
hold
And
it.
I do watch how much he's drinking and make sure, like,
Yeah.
he has to pee before bed. But yeah, like, I think the times he has had accidents, it's like he has an accident in the middle of the night, sleeps for a couple more hours before he's even aware that he went.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like mine.
Yep.
They're all different, right?
They are. Oh my
Yeah.
God. They are. Like,
Yeah.
it was so hard to potty train. My sweet little middle was like, you want me to use the potty? Okay, right here. This is where I go. Okay, great. Like,
Very different. They're all completely
that
different. So
other,
funny.
he's different in other ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Well,
Veronique. You have another question? I think you have one more, or no?
No, I
Or you're
think
done? Oh, okay.
no, I'm done. We're out of time also. But I just wanted to say, we're going to put all the information, of course, in our podcast description.
Awesome.
Because your
Yeah.
podcast is really interesting. Your videos on YouTube, I really love them. And
Thanks for
all
watching.
the mom over there, and anybody who's going to have kids or even no kids,
Potty
they can learn a
training.
lot. Yeah.
Oh,
potty
yeah.
training,
And the potty
everything.
training course that is, is it on your webpage?
Let's see. Right
On
now,
your-
I'm doing consultations and I'm currently making my course. So,
Okay.
I will have a video course.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Working on
That's
that.
exciting.
That's the next thing I'm trying to do while being a mom and doing,
Yeah, right?
juggling everything.
Multitasking.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
Always.
guys.
It was great. Thank you for coming, Katie.
Me, this was so fun.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.